Hi everyone, Donna here. I'm the owner here at Bookkeeping Made Simple, and today I want to ask about a specific software. I want to talk about a specific software that a lot of people ask me about, and I absolutely despise it, and I'm going to explain why. Before I really get into that, of course, as always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me grow my channel. I really love it when I have people asking a lot of good questions. I do have a video coming up about capital gains, especially related to the Robinhood Wall Street bets, guys. I'm going to have someone on with me that I'm still arranging to help me kind of explain that. And how, you know, capital gains are going to affect you in your taxes, but that's upcoming. That is not this video. If there are, if you have any questions you'd like me to address in a future video, please feel free to comment below and let me know. And if you're on YouTube, ring the notification bell so that you're notified when these videos go up. Oh, that's a lot of talking. Okay, so the software I keep being asked about is Xero, X-E-R-O, Xero, and I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion. I do not understand how anyone can say that it was created by a bunch of CPAs. I really don't understand where they're coming from. They're trying to make it easy, and it's really not. And I'm going to explain why. Xero reconciles against your bank feed every day. Okay. The problem with that is that's not really reconciliation. In reconciliation, what they're doing is they are downloading a bank feed, having categorized everything, and calling that reconciling. Okay. True reconciliation is when you pull up the statement for a specific length of time, usually a calendar month, and you click off literally every single transaction that went through the bank through that time period. And there's a couple of things that can happen in reconciliations. One is you can find a bunch of duplicate entries, okay? Which means that you entered something, the bank entered, another transaction downloaded, they maybe didn't match, maybe you were a penny off on your entry, but it was really the same thing. Basically, it's a duplicate, okay? That can happen. Another thing that can happen, and I have seen this, is a check can go through multiple times. It's not supposed to be allowed to go through multiple times, but it does happen from time to time. The same check can be cashed by your bank multiple times. Again, they're supposed to have safeguards against this, but I've seen it happen. And if you are just depending on your downloads, you may not catch that. Okay, so the process of actually taking a paper statement, I use PDFs, I put them up on my extra monitor, and go through them line by line, complete with a straight edge, make sure I don't miss any. And when you see your difference equals 0, then you know you have found all of the transactions that the bank has, that has gone through the bank. Okay, so we can find duplicate transactions this way. We can find circular transactions this way. Circular transactions are, and I've had multiple clients. So if you're one of my clients and you're watching this and you're saying, oh, Donna, just talk to me about that. Believe me, you're not the only one. I wouldn't be making the video if it was just one person. A circular transaction means somehow something got entered as a deposit and a withdrawal from the same account. So there's no net change in the account. So when you reconcile, you can catch this kind of thing because you'll see it on the register that something is just not right, especially in the software. Of course, in the old days when we used actual ledgers, the paper ledgers, checkbooks. Does anyone remember a checkbook? Am I the only one that's old enough? In the old days, we would use a paper checkbook because computers were not up to this particular task yet. Quickbooks really only hit the market in 1998. And I first became familiar with it in 99, and I've been working with it ever since. Before that, and it's even then, QuickBooks, Microsoft Money, all of these are based on a paper register. And so we would literally check everything off, make sure we had all of the bank statements, checked, everything on the bank statement checked off, everything in the bank checked off, and then we would add up whatever we knew was outstanding, and it would come out to, it would match. Okay, that's the process of reconciliation. When you're 100% dependent on your bank feed, however, and I do like bank feeds, they do save me a lot of time. But when you're 100% dependent on your bank feed and you are not actually going through a monthly reconciliation process, which is what Xero, not just, it's one of their selling points. I don't know why. I see this as a major negative to it. The first thing I noticed, by the way, the first thing I look for, sorry, my collar was standing at the back and it was bothering me. The first thing I look for when I'm starting a new client is the first thing I do is look to see if they've reconciled their bank accounts through the reconciliation screen in QuickBooks. I really want to see that. Okay, the only time I don't really look very hard for that is when I know that I have brought it over from QuickBooks Online. And then I will go in right away as soon as I possibly can and reconcile the next month after I know that they were reconciled before, because in the transition, a lot of things don't show up as being reconciled that actually were. So I'm always aware of that, but I want to make sure that everything is reconciled through the reconciliation screen. The reason for that, again, there's duplicates. There's things that got downloaded from the bank, that got entered in the register, that maybe got entered in the register multiple times. There's things that didn't get matched. There's the circular transaction problem. There's maybe transactions that didn't get entered into the software, that somehow someone didn't enter it from the bank feed. There's a lot of problems that are solved when you sit down and you reconcile. Okay, and if you don't bother to do that, especially as Xero, I find to be clunky, difficult to work with. In fact, when I first started this business and when I was with kind of my sister company, they had just gone over to Xero, so I was going over to Xero, and then I really started looking into it and said, this is not good. This is not a good thing. And I went back to QuickBooks Online. Now, the reason I like QuickBooks, I actually prefer desktop QuickBooks to online QuickBooks, but I do not sell that. I sell QuickBooks Online because, one, my clients can see their transactions. They can see what I'm doing. They can get in and they can see what's been reconciled. They can make sure that everything's up to date. They can get in there and ask questions. They can pull up their own reports. I really like that. Okay, not because I don't like pulling up reports for my clients, but I do like that they can get in, they can get the information that they need, and it's right there at their fingertips. Okay, so I like the online aspect. That is the biggest part that I like about it. It has gotten much better over the years. When it first started, I started using QuickBooks Online when it first came out, and I hated it then. And they've gotten much, much better. We can set up the bank feeds, and then we go through and we review them all, and we still reconcile at the end of the month. And we start looking for these problems that always come up, always. Kind of the downside of having any accounting software online is the clients can get in, and when we're in process with things, and I've had problems with this for 20 years, okay? When we're in process with things, a lot of times I will literally double enter and then delete and then re-enter and double check, and oh my gosh, they've entered all this stuff duplicate times and I've got to go back, and it kind of is a mess until it's clean, okay? Kind of like cleaning your house, like cleaning your oven and then cleaning your kitchen. It's a complete disaster until all of a sudden it's clean, okay? So I've had clients when I'm in the middle of all this, and I've told them I'm in the middle of all this, please don't go into your QuickBooks and assume that those balances are correct, and that's exactly what they do. They will go in, they'll go, oh, I have all this money, and they will go and spend it, and then they'll get mad at me, and I was going, I told you, I emailed you 3 times and said, don't spend any more money out of this account unless you absolutely have to. thinking that these balances are correct, go to your bank and check your balance there, because we're in process and there's a lot of work to do, okay? So that's the only downside I've had to having it online. For the most part, that's been a tremendous positive, and I do recommend it. I don't get extra money for it. So this is not like it's sponsored. This is just my own personal preference. I recommend it. I recommend it to my clients. We prefer to get them started. If you absolutely have to use Xero, I'm going to fight you on it a little bit, because I hate it. Okay, I hate it. I find it difficult to find the journals. I find it difficult to find the general ledger. I find it challenged. They want everything based on these downloads, and I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, so whichever, by the way, I've also used FreshBooks. I've used Sage Intact, which is for huge corporations, and I just got word that I have completed my accounting degree. So I can actually use spreadsheets. I don't like them. I can use them, and many times when I have clients who are asking for something specialized, I will pull it out into a spreadsheet and work with the spreadsheet, and then kind of transfer the changes over to QuickBooks through a journal entry or several. So there's advantages and disadvantages to just about every program. The advantage to me for QuickBooks Desktop is, one, it's multi-monitor. I can have both windows, both monitors up and running, which is new to QuickBooks Online. I can have multiple windows. It's just a little bit easier because you're not waiting for the web. On the other hand, when QuickBooks Online is always backed up, all of these software as a service type of accounting softwares is always backed up, so I don't have to worry about that. Let me think. So that's why my preference is QuickBooks. I can work in other softwares, but I really hate Xero. And I hate Xero because I think it's misleading. You cannot reconcile every day. You can't. You just don't have, you need the statements generated from the bank. The bank generates them once a month. That's kind of it for today. I realize a lot of people like these. They think they like these daily reconciliations. What they're really looking for is for someone to go in and enter the transactions every day. We can absolutely do that. But some of the other things that I've been asked to do over the years is a no-go. So it's not effective. It does not lead to accurate books, and it's not something that I want to have my name associated with. That's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you have joined me today, and looking forward to hearing from you soon.